Angelique and welcome to Pottery Box, and today we're going to be looking at how you want to paint your pieces that you're creating, whether they're in air hardening clay or whether they're in salt dough, or there's the PVA dough that I had in a previous video. I will be looking at basically what have you got in your house and what can you get from the shop if not. So we go with the acrylic paints that you can pick up. You don't have to buy the expensive ones. You've also got the water-based enamels, which will give you a shiny finish. You can even use poster paints and PVA glue to give them a shine if you want to, or you can buy a varnish and put that on to something like this if you want a shiny surface. Obviously the enamel has the shiny surface. So first of all, you're going to need some, if you're going to use the painting, obviously you're going to need your water, your paint brushes. I always like to use used fridge bags to use my paint so I can throw them away afterwards. Maybe someone in the house has just defrosted some peas or something from the freezer, and then you can fold it over and do a different colour, and you can blend colours and use it like a palette if you haven't got a palette to mix them up with. So first of all, I'm going to be looking at how to paint them because they're quite delicate, and then we'll go on to some different techniques. So I've just squirted out some colour here onto here. You don't need to have a large amount, it's better to get a small amount and then just use it as you go along more than wasting half your tubes. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to start with it quite thick with this one. Obviously with poster paint and things you shouldn't have so much of a problem. And then see, now the important part is these are really fragile, especially the way I've made him here. So wherever I'm painting, I'm like treating it like I'm painting with a feather on an eggshell, would be a good description. And if you're finding that it's just sucking up too much of that paint and you're not getting very far, you can always just dab your brush, even with the acrylic, in a little bit of water. You won't find that with the enamels, you won't need water, and you don't really want to start mixing water into those. Can you see that's brushing on an awful lot better? Now, it's a really good idea to paint what you see in the place you are, and then turn it, and then paint a bit more. That way you won't miss some. Just keep turning it around. You don't want to keep turning it like paint a tentacle, turn him, and then paint another tentacle and tentacle. I can't say tentacle. Paint him again. Move him as little as possible, basically. So once you've done that and you've got all the way round, really do have a look, because after you've put all your paints away, you're bound to find you've missed a little bit. So like come down here and then go up there. Now something else I do want to point out with painting is if you want to paint an eye and you want to get like underneath, let's say, a little bit, if you do that with your paintbrush, that's a really good way to just butt it up underneath. I can't see what I'm doing there, but you get the idea. And should you get some on the eye and you don't want to paint the eye that and you want to paint it a white, then all you need to do is get something pointy like a blunt needle or like a kebab skewer, and because it's clay and you haven't painted it, you can literally scrape off that paint and it will all come off, and then blow away from you if you're going to blow the dust off. Don't breathe it in. Right, okay, so that's that. You don't want to watch me paint the whole of him, so I'm just going to show you a couple of little techniques. We're going to start with putting some glitter on, and then on the acrylic, and then with the PVA, and then I will look at doing a little bit of almost like papier-mâché with some tissue paper with the PVA. That will make it slightly stronger if you've got a delicate piece. Takes a little longer. We can even stick little foam bits on, or you could even stick gems on. I mean, do whatever you like. It's just like working with a piece of paper and paints and collages, whatever you fancy. So next bit I will try and show you how to use the tissue paper and the PVA. Right, so here's one that I made earlier. I love saying that. Right, so as you can see, I've done all sorts on him. I thought this was the easiest way to show you. With this one, I've done paper, like a tissue papier-mâché effect. I've broke them down into tiny bits of glue, bits of tissue paper. And I find if I get the glue on my brush it's easier to pick them up. So I'd paint him all over for this one, and then I would stick it onto my brush with the this has got PVA on, then I would put it on, and then I would brush him round, and I've got several different colours there that I would build up. And with this side, as you can see, slightly trickier, but I've actually used newsprint. So I like to use a variation of like the text and the pictures, and with newsprint you want to just dab it in water and just let the water soak in for a minute or two, and then get a couple of pieces together, and then you paint it with the PVA, and then you can pick them up with a brush again and stick them on. You want about half the size of this when working with the newsprint because it's a little bit thicker than the tissue paper. This is obviously straightforward. I've just painted with glue, or I've left the acrylic paint to be wet, so I've then sprinkled on the different glitters. And then I've got this little lovely flower here that it just either, you know, gives them a bit of sunshine, doesn't it really? And then this one's with the gold paint. So I hope this has shown you just some of the wonderful things that you can do once you've created them and they've dried. Don't forget, if any bits fall off, you want to glue them. If you find that PVA is not working, you can use like a stronger glue, and stick them all back together and let them dry, and they'll be fine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, like it, and you can subscribe and press the bell if you want to find out what else is going to be going on. Next video, I'm going to be making this little treasure island. Thank you. Bye.